Hey, what is going on, Fan Clan? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you had a great week. Happy Chilling Rain release day. I wish you all the best of luck in going out and hunting for booster boxes and blisters. I hope all the stores are just jam-packed with tons of product and you pull all of the alternate arts, all of the full arts, all of your chase cards. Very, very excited about this set. I do like it a lot. It's a lot of fun to open, and I hope you guys enjoy it just as much. I do have something a little different for you guys today than what we normally talk about. I want to go over my favorite error cards in Pokemon TCG history. Hopefully that's something that you like. Let me know in the comment section down below if you like segments like this. But I just kind of wanted to go over different things in the hobby, different things that you can collect. And we've talked a lot in the past about how you can kind of change your collection based off of how, the time, how things are going at that specific time. So when we were talking about how product was really, really difficult to find, maybe you kind of transition into trying to start filling out master sets through adding in commons and uncommons and or reverse hollowers or things that maybe didn't get out of control from a price exuberant standpoint. Or maybe you start looking at trophy cards, or maybe you start looking at error cards. Now I know there's a lot of error cards out there in existence, but I want to go over some that are kind of a little bit more common, a little bit more notable, things that kind of have a place in Pokemon TCG history that have been because of printing errors and things like that. I'm not talking about miscuts or anything like that where maybe something's completely off-center and you got it sent off to PSA and it got an off-center grade or anything like that. But I've been thinking about doing something like this for a while now, ever since the original Cinderace staff promo kind of popped up, and now we have reports of a second Cinderace staff promo popping up, and that would be kind of considered a misprint because those aren't supposed to exist. Those somehow got in the print run for some odd reason, and it seems like so far at least it's only been Cinderace that has had that staff logo. Staff has been non-existent anymore ever since Vivid Voltage was the last one where staff cards were kind of printed and released into the field. So every set from then on, so after Vivid Voltage was Battle Styles, no staff promos that came out, and then now we have had Chilling Rain, and there haven't been any staff promos that have come out since then, except for these couple of copies of Cinderace staff promos. There's a lot of value that goes with some of these rare error cards. There's a lot of story behind some of these rare error cards, and a lot of them are very, very difficult to find, but a lot of fun to own. So I want to kind of go over some of them, and I'll put pictures of them up in the corner here as I talk about them real quickly. And I want to know in the comments section down below if you collect error cards, if you have any error cards, what your favorite error cards are. Very, very exciting stuff. But I'm not going to get into too much TCG related news or anything like that. I know there's a lot of news coming out about Evolving Skies and some of the new hobby stuff, the hobby stores, the special promotions that they're going to be getting. Those are really cool, but I do want to talk specifically about error cards and just some of my favorite ones. And let me know what you think in the comment section down below when it comes to these bad boys. The first one that I want to go over is the No Stage Error hollow from base set, the Blastoise one. This is kind of a big deal. It doesn't bring a whole lot of intrigue, a lot of excite for a lot of people. This error happened specifically only on Unlimited set. So this wasn't something that happened on Shadowless. It didn't happen on first edition, but for some reason during a print run, up in the upper right hand corner, normally it would say put Blastoise on the stage 1 card, but in this case there's a no stage error there, meaning that it just says put Blastoise on the, and that's it, no other text after that. So this is a misprint that made its way through in some Unlimited base set printing. This is something that you can still open up today if you have your hands on some of the Unlimited base set booster packs that are out there, you know, not triangle error or anything like that. This is just going to come from a standard normal $400-$500 base set booster pack, but there should be some in existence probably still that made it through that first print run or that first couple print runs where it has this no stage error, and that kind of adds a little bit of value to it because it's something that didn't happen very often and then was caught fairly early on and then changed out where they did put Blastoise on the stage 1 card. So they got rid of that stage error. It's a really, really cool card. We don't know a whole lot of reasoning behind it or anything like that. It's just a real simple error, but it's very, very cool. The second error that I want to talk about that's one of my favorites is the Blaine's Charizard error. Now this is something that a lot of people already do know about. This is something that has been corrected. The original Blaine's Charizard holographic card that came out had a fighting symbol in its first attack. So its first attack was Roaring Flames, and it had a fighting symbol where you discarded a fighting energy in order to use the attack. So this came out, it was caught, and then it was corrected. Unfortunately, it was corrected fairly late. All first edition copies of Blaine's Charizard have this error, so there is no first edition copy that does not exist without this fighting symbol error. But after it was caught, a lot less of these cards were produced with the corrected version of the card. So this is one of those really weird cases where Blaine's Charizard is already a super popular card because it's a Charizard, but it's more popular to have the corrected version because it's less abundant. So there's less copies that exist out there of the Blaine's Charizard corrected version, where Roaring Flames has a discard one or discard all of the fire energy instead of fighting energy. So it's kind of a simple error again, but this has been corrected, and then the amount of the corrected errors that are, or corrected copies that are in existence are actually much, much less than the error copy itself. So if you have a Blaine's Charizard, definitely go take a look at it. Maybe you haven't noticed this before, but it probably has that fighting symbol in its first attack, and that's actually an error card, and then it was corrected. If you have the corrected version of it, it's actually worth a little bit more because it is less abundant than the error version. So that's Blaine's Charizard. The next one that I want to go over is the No Damage Ninetales. So this was only printed on Shadowless cards, and the reason behind that is because it came out in the Brushfire theme deck, where there's Shadowless cards that came out in the Brushfire theme deck of the base set, and Ninetales. So Ninetales, the Shadowless version, it has an attack called Fire Blast where you do 4 fire energies and you do 80 damage. But unfortunately, on this specific error card, there's no damage. It does no damage because there's no damage number. There's no damage number there. So it typically would do 80 damage. So the unlimited version, the first edition Shadowless version, it's going to say Fire Blast, and there's 4 fire energy that you use to do 80 damage, and then you discard 1 fire energy to use the attack or whatever it is, and then you do 80 damage to your opponent, to your opponent's active Pokemon. However, unfortunately, on this specific version of the Shadowless card, there is no damage that is being done. That 80 is just blocked out. It's just blank. It's just the red background for the fire energy or for the fire Ninetales card. So there's nothing there, which is pretty cool. But this is a very, very hard error to find because it was, I think, only released in the Brushfire theme deck, so it is pretty rare, making it a little bit more valuable. But definitely one of the cooler ones out there. The next one that I want to talk about is the Dark Persian error, and this is one of my favorites because it does not have any HP. That is the specific error that comes along with this this error card, this promo card. This was released as a Black Star promo. I think its number is number 17. It was released in the Nintendo Power magazine in like the year 2000, and then was actually recalled because they found the error, and then they reprinted it and they fixed it, and they got the Nintendo Power copies out into existence again. But a lot of those copies had already been distributed, so a lot of these cards still exist today. You can find them out online probably. They are a little bit pricey because it is such a cool misprint, and it is pretty rare to find, pretty hard to find because it is corrected. But where it says Dark Persian, basically symbolizing the Team Rocket set, but Dark Persian, it doesn't have any HP at the top, so it's supposed to have 60 HP, and it has nothing, which is pretty cool. So that's definitely one of the neater error cards. Another card that I want to talk about is the Wartortle that evolves from Wartortle. So this is another thing that goes along with the Blastoise line that I want to talk about. It's just kind of like the unlimited base. I think it's just the unlimited base set packs that this came in also. But if you look up here, this Wartortle is supposed to evolve from a Squirtle, and in this case, it actually evolves from Wartortle. And this was something that actually, there's quite a few copies of this in existence, and it is something that sells for a few $100s. At least it did a while ago when I was looking for them. It might be more expensive now. But I remember looking through just tons of copies of my base set Wartortles to see if I had any of these error cards. This is something that gets overlooked so simply because when you're looking at a card, especially a base set card, and you're looking at just the artwork or whatever you might be looking at, one of the details you oftentimes overlook, we all know Wartortle evolves from Squirtle, so we don't even think about looking up in that upper left hand corner to seeing what the stage 1 is because it's just not something that crosses our mind. But this is kind of a fun promo, or kind of a fun error card to look over. It's really, really cool, really unique, but one of the rare times that Pokemon has ever printed a card, accidentally, obviously, where the Wartortle evolves from Wartortle. So very, very cool. The next one that I want to talk about is kind of more of an honorable mention one, and I'm just going to put these up here. These are just no symbol jungle hollows. I really like how these look. I really like the idea of them. It's just kind of, these only happened in unlimited jungle sets. All the first edition sets, all the hollows are going to have their their jungle set symbol on them. But some of the unlimited holos, if you're opening up a box, a brand new booster box of jungle set, let's say, and you open up one holo pack and you see that it doesn't have that jungle error or that jungle symbol on it, basically all the holos that you have in that booster box are going to have the same setless or symbol-less set. There's not going to be a set symbol on it whatsoever, which is really, really cool. There's uncut sheets that have come up in existence before where for some reason there was just no jungle symbol that were printed on many of the holographic cards. Now, this only impacts the holographic cards. It's actually caused a lot of confusion back in the day, especially for people who didn't know a whole lot of differences between base set, fossil set, jungle set, and anything like that. They assumed that these cards were from the base set because it didn't have a symbol on it. But these are pretty easy to find nowadays. They're not super expensive. They do add quite a bit of value, especially if you're somebody who's collected an entire jungle holo set. It's really cool to see kind of these all laid out as jungle holos without any jungle symbols in them. Very, very cool. Definitely something that you might want to consider adding to your collection just because it does have that notoriety in it of not being something that's normal. It's definitely an error confirmed from Pokemon, for example. One of those more unique errors that people know about and people can kind of get behind, but it's just cool to look at the fact that all of these jungle holos don't have the set symbol on them. And then my favorite one that I want to talk about that I saved for the last is one of... it's one of my favorite Pokemon. So it's Dark Dragonite from the Team Rocket set. I've actually owned this card in a first edition copy before. I remember finding a lot on eBay, and I bought it for super cheap. I got the cards in the mail one day, opened it up, and I realized, hey, wait a second, why does this Dark Dragonite have the number 5 out of 82 in the lower right hand corner and not the number 22 or 23 out of 82, whatever the number is supposed to be, when it was a non-holo? And then I did some more digging and researching and found out that this was actually a very, very rare error card. So for some reason, the holo Dark Dragonite got pushed down in the uncut sheets to where the uncommons are, and that kind of messed up with the ordering of things and caused the Dark Dragonite non-holo to get put into the holo spot. So it got the number 5 out of 82 in some print runs, first edition and unlimited, and all of a sudden you had Dark Dragonite non-holo cards that were numbered 5 out of 82, and they ended up catching it, they ended up correcting it, but not before a decent amount of copies went out. I believe that there's supposed to be over 5,000 of these in existence, whether they be first edition or unlimited, but definitely a very, very cool error card. Some of these have sold for extremely high amounts, thousands of dollars if they sold, in PSA 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever the case may be. Mine was not in that great of condition. It was probably a PSA 5 or 6, I think it was, something like that. It was not in anything pristine condition or anything like that, but it was just a super cool piece because it's such a unique piece of history. But these are kind of more of the vintage error pieces that have come out throughout the years, and there's a whole lot of other error cards. You can go online and you can kind of research, there's gray stamp errors, there's the Ivy Pikachu errors, there's D-Edition stamp errors, there's Voltorb errors. There's a lot of them that go every single set down the line. They were a lot more popular back in the vintage sets than where they are now. But these were a lot of fun to look at. I know people who collect only error cards. That's kind of their main thing. They collect only error cards. I've also met people who only collect miscut cards and people who cut off-center cards and things like that. So it's definitely a cool and unique piece that you can kind of add to your collection. They're unique because they aren't something that are out there a lot of. You know that you're going to have something that doesn't have a whole lot of copies in existence, which is kind of a cool thing. So I just wanted to go over my favorite error cards. Let me know in the comment section down below what your favorite error cards are from Pokemon, what you think, any of them that you might own yourself. I don't know of a whole lot of modern day errors or anything common like that because they just aren't something that kind of pop up a lot. I think Pokemon has been able to do a good job, not necessarily with their quality control right now, but of making sure that all the print runs are stay the same throughout every single run that they do, where there's not errors that kind of pop up as much as they did in the past. So yeah, definitely leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you guys are not already subscribed, leave a thumbs up, leave a like. It goes a long way for the algorithm, and leave a comment. You guys mean the world to me. Thank you so much for everything, guys. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful chilling rain opening weekend. You guys are the best. So thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Peace.